Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hana Sasabila binti Rafi'i and my metric number is 054349 and our group will be present about facilitating complex thinking. So it will be considered three complex form of thinking, which is critical thinking, creative thinking and problem solving. So I will be present about critical thinking and also creative thinking. So critical thinking requires skill at analyzing the reliability and validity of information as well as the attitude or disposition to do so. Usually the critical thinker will ask for key questions, evaluate the evidence for ideas, reason for problems both logically and objectively, and express ideas and conclusion clearly and precisely. So there are two research, which is for the first one. In one study, the researcher Liu 2006 found how critical thinking can be reflected in regard to a published article was stimulated by annotation. For example, after do the reading, it was found that some students simply underline the passage with a highlighting pen. So whenever they want to read again the essay that had been analyzed, they just read the one that written by annotation. For the second one is researcher Hawkins 2006 also found that this thinking can be involved by doing oral discussion of personal issues or dilemmas. So based on this study, students were asked to verbally describe a recent personal incident that disturbed them. Then classmates discussed the incidents together in order to identify the precise reason why the incident was disturbing, as well as assumptions that the student made in describing the incident. So the original student, the one who had first told the story, then used the results of the group discussion to frame a topic for a research essay. So actually this oral discussion will stimulate the critical thinking in the students and classmates, but it also rely on their prior knowledge, pure critical thinking skills. So as a result, students acquire experience in building their own knowledge. They also become skilled both at knowing how they learn and at knowing whether they have learned something well. So creative thinking is it is ability to make or do something new that is also useful or valued by others. So it can be an object like an essay or painting, a skill like playing an instrument, or an action like using a familiar tool in a new way. It cannot be simply bizarre and strange. As a teacher, there are two facts of important form of creativity, which is form of creativity, which is firstly is creative thinking. It is stimulated by teacher's effort, and also divergent thinking versus convergent thinking. Divergent thinking, it is stimulated by open-ended question with many possible answer. As example, how many uses you can think of for a cup. So convergent thinking is it is focused on logical reasoning about ideas and experience that lead to specific answers. So whatever the activities such as composing a song, writing an essay, organizing a party, it is more likely to be creative if the creator focus on and enjoy the activities itself, and thinks just a little relatively on how others may evaluate the activity. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nick Shahmina binti Nick Faizagani. My matrix number is 053511. So today I'm going to share with all of you about problem solving. What is problem solving? Problem solving is the analysis and solution of tasks or situations that are complex or ambiguous and that pose difficulties or obstacles. Basically, it means the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues. Problem solving happens in the classroom. For example, when teacher present tasks or challenges that complex and finding a solution that is not straightforward or obvious. The responses of students to such problems show the key features of problem solving. There are two common features of problem solving. Firstly, the effect of constraints, which is well-structured versus ill-structured problems. Secondly, the effect of mental obstacles to solving problem. The effect of constraints, well-structured versus ill-structured problems. Firstly, for well-structured problems, it means some problems which are simple and well-defined and include a set number of possible solutions. For example, a typical mathematical questions. For ill-structured means the problems that we face routinely in everyday life. For example, social, political, or economic. Okay, and then for solution procedures, for well-structured problem, algorithm is a well-defined procedure for solving a particular kind of problem. For example, multiplying or dividing two numbers. For ill-structured problems, heuristics, a solving strategy that allow people to simplify complex problems. Then there are two obstacles to solve problems: functional fixedness and response set. For functional fixedness, it is tendency to regard the functions of objects and ideas as fixed, which means prevents people from fully seeing all of the different options. And then for response set, the tendency for a person to frame or think about each problem in a series in the same way as the previous problem. Next, there are three strategies to assist problem solving. Firstly, problem analysis. Problem analysis means identifying the parts of the problem and working on each part separately. It is useful for ill-structured problem. And then, secondly, for working backward, a final solution to the originally stated problem. And then thirdly, for analogical thinking, using knowledge or experience to solve problems. Moreover, move to the next topic. For broad instructional strategies, there are major instructional strategies that are for student and teacher, which is firstly student-directed group work, for example, discovery learning. Secondly, student-directed individual work, for example, concept maps. And then thirdly, teacher-directed group work, for example, lectures. And then fourth, teacher-directed individual work, for example, textbook readings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nizam bin Cik Mukhtar and my metric number is 054202. So today I'm going to talk about teacher-directed instruction. Teacher-directed instruction includes any strategies and guidance by the teacher to their students in order to achieve the learning objective. First is lectures and reading. Lectures and readings are a traditional way of education, particularly with older students. At their best, they are pre-organized by the information, so it can make the lesson delivery become easier because they just need to remember what was said by their lecturers or written in the text. Next is advanced organizers. These strategies are making the reading and lectures effective. The teacher need to carefully organize the information for students. The example of this approach is brief overview of the introduction to new materials before the material itself is presented. Next is recalling and relating prior knowledge. This method for improving teacher-directed instruction is to encourage students to relate the new material to prior knowledge. For example, in learning English, there are some words that are spelled almost similar to other language and carry the same meaning. Next strategy is facilitating complex thinking by relating the new ideas to previous ideas when presenting in order to learn the ideas deliberately. Next is elaborating information, means asking questions to the students about the new lesson. By doing this, the students can understand more about the lesson. There are effective teaching models that are written by Madeline Hunter. She mentioned that to prepare the students to learn, the teachers need to make good use of time at the beginning of the lesson when attention is at the best point. Next, she also mentioned that the teacher need to present the information clearly and explicitly by setting best structures to the lesson and stay with it throughout and use the familiar terms and examples. Next, in order to check for understanding, the teachers need to asking questions to the students. Last but not least, to provide the student with good exercise. So next, I'm going to talk about student-centered model of learning. Student-centered model of learning that shifts some of the responsibility for directing and organizing learning from the teacher to the students. It means a relative shift in the teacher's role toward one with more emphasis on guiding students' self-chosen direction. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatin Amira binti Zainal and my matrix number is 053508. Today, I will be talking about inquiry learning. Inquiry learning is exactly what it is, which is learning by inquiry to promote discussions and studies. This method has been used for decades and will also referred to as inquiry method. The questions can either be asked by teachers or students, and the content of the questions can vary from simple questions from the textbook to important current global issues. For example, a primary school student might ask, why does the leaf float? Meanwhile, a university student might ask, why is colorism deep-rooted in Asian countries? However, truth to be told, the questions are not limited to their ages because some students might be more ahead or less compared to their peers. In response, the teachers will not answer the questions straight on. Instead, they will promote self-investigations by asking the students for their own ideas and elaborations. They will also ask further what exactly does the students want to know. For example, for the questions, why is colorism deep-rooted in Asian countries? The teacher might ask, what exactly does the student want to know? Is it the beauty standard or is it the past colonizations? Meanwhile, cooperative learning is about working with peers in groups and are often rewarded for the group success. This method has been in education for a long time as most school activities from classroom lessons to sports competitions involve teams. However, the traditional practice of assessing students individually prohibits students from helping each other. This is because students strive to be the number one. However, there are a few key items that can help to promote cooperative learning. The first key item is to give time and place for students to work together because there are some interruptions at schools, such as assemblies. Next, students need to be trained in order to have the ability to work together. Next, teachers should evaluate the students in groups and individually, so they will learn together instead of freeloading. Then, students need to know the value and the necessity of cooperation so they can work together, because they could not learn together if they don't even believe in each other. In order to make cooperative learning work better, teachers should implement rich group work tasks so students can use their own skills to work together. Examples of activities are TESL Classroom, which there are two versions of it, Team Pair Share, Project-Based Learning, and STAD, which is Students' Team Achievement Divisions. The Team Pair Share activity is when teachers put two students in one group, and in this group, the student will first think individually, then they will have to share the information with each other. After that, this pair will share their knowledge to another pair, and so on. As for project-based learning, it's an activity where students have to do a project research on one question for extended period. Later, this project will require them to hold a presentation or make a report. For STID, which is Students' Team Achievement Divisions, this is an activity where students have to work in group and make sure their teammates get achievements. However, later the students will have to take tests individually. For Jigsaw classrooms, there are two versions. The first version is when the teachers put students in one group, and this group has to focus on one subtopic. Then, after this group have managed to get all the information based on this topic, they will have to disband and reform a new group with members from different groups who have experts about another topic, so they can share their knowledge, so they will know about all the subtopics. For the second version of Jigsaw classrooms is when the students are formed into groups, and in this group, the teacher requires them to know about the whole topic. So in this group, there will be one person who are expert of each of their own subtopics. Then this group will disband and create a new group with expert for another group. So when expert and experts talk, they will know more information. So after this group end the discussion, they will disband again and create their original group back, so they can share their new information that they have gained from the another group. And that is all from me. Thank you.
Last but not least, as you can see, that choices among instructional strategies are numerous indeed, that deciding among them too depends on the forms of thinking that you want to encourage. That's all. Thank you.